Okay, so let's talk for a minute about the reticular activating system. The reticular activating system, or RAS or RAS, is a system or mechanism in the brain which determines what we pay attention to. The reticular activating system actually is a part of your brain. In any moment, your brain is receiving millions of pieces of information, from the temperature of each area of your skin to the way your clothes feel, to many unique sounds that enter your ear. There is you are lambasted, with all kinds of different signals all the time. And your brain has to cope and interpret and deal with all of those different signals that it's receiving. But what if all of a sudden your hand brushed against a boiling plate? This is a great example. Within a fraction of a second, you would be aware of it consciously. The reticular activating system is like a filter that only allows through information that it thinks is relevant. Our conscious mind simply couldn't cope with every detail of what's going on around us. And that is an absolutely true statement. Driving in a car, we've used this analogy before. You talk about all of the inputs that your mind is receiving. If your mind had to treat every single one of those inputs with the same degree of relevance or the same degree of importance, it would never be able to function. Your mind would literally shut down. But because we have the reticular activating system, the mind has the ability to create, a hierarchy of importance, so to speak. The unique thing about the reticular activating system is that it's not fixed. You can give it instructions as to what to pay attention to. Normally, this is done at a subconscious level. Normally, this is not something that would be readily apparent to you. But by training your reticular activating system, by being specific, you can teach your brain what to pay attention to. Here's a great example or experiment. I want you to pan your head around the room very slowly. Don't try to focus on anything in particular. And once you're done, do this. Think of the color red, and then look around the room again. Notice how even the slightest tint of red sticks out. That's your reticular activating system doing its job. You have told your brain what is important. What is it that I want to pay attention to? And your reticular activating system now pushes aside all of the stuff that is not important. You can really get a feel for this by if you pan your head around the room looking for what's red, and then once you're done, once you've recognized all of the things that are red in the room, I want you to close your eyes. And now I want you to remember everything in the room that was blue. And you're going to find that you've got a hard time remembering what was blue versus what was red. Red will be very easy. Blue will be very difficult. The reason being is you've told your brain to ignore the color blue, to only look for red. And because of that, your brain has pushed aside all of the non-essential information. When you set a goal, you're essentially telling your reticular activating system to focus on anything that will help you achieve it. Goal-oriented people are not lucky. They are looking at the same world everyone else is. They have just trained their mind to make opportunities stick out to them from the background. So, consider the opportunities that exist in the market and your reticular activating system. What are you doing daily to train your mind to react to price patterns? We talk about training your reticular activating system, seeing the pattern, letting the pattern draw itself out. All of that is critical. The time that you spend in the market, the time that you spend analyzing the market, looking at looking at different opportunities, trying to determine, is this an ABCD pattern? Is this a Gartley pattern? Let me draw in my Fibonacci retracements and see where that retracement came in at. If for no other reason, to be training your brain to recognize the retracement levels. If you can quickly identify the retracement levels without having to draw them in using your Fibonacci retracement tools, if you can quickly identify a 127 extension or an ABCD move without having to draw it in, how much quicker do you think you can react to market conditions? And in Trading is Mental Warfare, we talked a lot about the importance of being able to quickly react to changing market conditions. Well, in order to be able to react to them, you first have to recognize them. And in order to recognize them, you have to be able to tell your brain what to pay attention to. And then you've got to, as we've said before, repetition is the mother of skill. You've got to continue to do it over and over and over again until it becomes second nature. So train your reticular activating system. Spend time in the markets looking for the pattern, looking for the Fibonacci retracements, training your eye to see that. And what you're going to find is the more time you spend, the more effort you apply, the better you're going to get at it. And pretty soon it's going to become second nature. You're not going to have to think about it anymore. You're going to be on autopilot.